Namaste. Happy Thanksgiving. Mama's gonna knock you out. Pow. No. I'm in a good mood, okay? So, even though I'm in my loving handkerchief, okay? I'm still having fun. I'm still enjoying myself. I'm still very thankful and very peaceful. And I am so thankful to my Father, the Most High, every single day, every single moment for everything that He is doing for me, everything. All I'm just so loved and so protected. And I'm so thankful. And I just give praise and glory to the Most High. Yes. Call Him whatever you may call Him. That's who He is. He is the creator of all. He is spirit. He is energy. And I love Him so much. Thank you, Father. And thank you, Mother Earth, okay? I love you as much as I do my Father. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much. And all the angels and all the saints and all of my spirit animals and all of my love, passed on loved ones. And all of my deities and all, oh my God. The air, the water, the fire, and the earth. I love you all. Thank you so much. I've learned so much and I'm very thankful. Anyway, I'm guided again to do another video. But this time, this video is going to be symbols that we may not look, we may just look at them and just say, okay, it's just a symbol. What is a staff? But there's a meaning behind a staff. What is the horns of a ram? There's significance behind, there's meanings behind everything. So I am going to I bought a book. I was guided to buy a book. So I'm going to pick out whatever spirit wants me to pick out from the book. I'm going to pick it out. So, wow. I picked out so funny. I got winter, northeast, spring, southeast, summer, and they have it in English and they have it in Japanese or Chinese. The ancient pagan symbols. So, let's see, because they run, yang is symbolized by the whole line. So, there's a whole line is symbolized. See, these symbols, this is a whole line. This is the yang. The yang is symbolized by lines separated, indicating weakness. So something has broken. These lines placed over themselves and each other form for Hassan or emblematic symbols. The same lines placed excessively over each other form the 8 kawa or triangrams. There are only 8 possible combinations of such a triangram, to each of which is assigned a special meaning which form the basis of divination. The 2 fundamental lines added to each of the 8 trigrams produce 16 figures of 4 lines each. A similar addition produces the 64 hexagrams, which form the subject of an essay in the text of the YI. The line increase in the arithmetic progression, whose common differences is the figures in the geometric progression, whose common ratios is 2. The 8 triagrams are called Kain, heaven, sky, celestial spheres. The TUI is watery, exhalations, vapors, clouds. I guess this is the I Ching. You know the I Ching? This is the I Ching letters. This is I Ching. Okay? I Ching. It's called pagan symbols. It's different for everybody. Light, fire, heat, sun, light, lightning. The Chen is thunder. The sun, wind, and wood. Kan, water, rivers, lake. Ken, mountains. Koan, earth, terrestrial matter. Kayan represents the three undivided strokes is Ananoid Yang. Kuan represents by three divided strokes is unalloyed Yin. In the mixed group of the lower line indicates the place of the most importance. The Kayin symbolizes heaven, which directs the great beginning of things, and the Quan, the earth, which gives to them their completion. Kayin and Quan are the gate of the Yin movement, and the rest are the regular inherited qualities of each. The Yin and the Yang. It's what we've been talking about, and it's within us ourselves, and it's also within our planet. The six minor triangrams or children are water and fire, thunder and wind, mountains and large bodies of water. In China, the four heaven spirits were cloud, rain, wind, thunder, and the worship of mountains, and the rivers were closely associated with the worship of heaven. The triangle curtains, the three powers, heaven, earth, and men. These three are one of the same. When doubled in hexagrams, the three powers unite and are one. But there are the changes and movements of their several ways, and therefore there are separate places for yin and yang and reciprocal uses of the heart and soul. This system of divination is really an attempt, and an amazingly clever one at that, to explain the origins of nature on mathematical principles. Numbers were conceived not as relations predictable of things, but as constituting the essence of things. Numbers were the rational reality of which appearances, as recognized by the senses, may be reduced towards. Torah must have studied the yin, for he speaketh the three great principles into all forms of manifestation may be analyzed, the masculine, positive, or generally principle, the feminine, receptive, or formative principle, and the nurturer of mathematical principle, which by determining the proportional relations between the two others give rise to the principle of variety and multiplicity. The yin productions and the reproduction of what is called change. The whole system, in fact, is based on the contractions and expanding proceedings and approaching of the productive and completing powers of the even and odd numbers. Yang being represented by the undivided line or the stroke. See the line? That's the yin. That's the yang. Therefore, all odd numbers belonging to the yang. Yin having a divided line or two strokes. You see the two strokes. Hence, all even numbers belong to the yin. 3 was assigned to heaven and 2 to earth. Heaven was high, earth was low. That which is high is noble, honorable. Things low are mean. Yang was 9 and yin 6. 9 being the triple multiple of the undividable number, which represents yang or heaven, means in Chinese the fullness of yang. In Hebrew, the number 9 was equivalent to truth. When multiplied, the immultiple number 9 reproduces itself. Thus 2 times 9 equals 18. 1 plus 1 equals 9. 9 times 27. 9 times 3 is 27. 2 plus 7 equals 9, and so on. The minor triagrams, those which contain only one undivided line, belong to the yang. The yang triagrams represent one ruler and 2 subjects, thus indicating superiority. Those which contain 2 undivided lines belong to yin and signify 2 rulers and 1 subject, symbolizing inferiority, weakness, and dissension. The system of philosophy was developed in the Yi King, is strikingly unlike the majority of religions believe. There is no sort of nation conveyed of the ultimate marriage of heaven and earth, nor a day when the lion and the lamb are going to lie down together. On the contrary, the Chinese, who are intensely practical as well as mystical, seems to have accepted the fact that the lion and the lamb are temperamentally unfitted for any permanent association, and that the heaven and earth can only unite for the purpose of production. The changeableness of human affairs, union gives way of separation. From separation comes reunion. This is the theme of the Yin King, that ever-changing phenomenon of nature and human experience. Sun goes, moon comes. Moon goes and sun comes. Cold goes and heat comes. Heat goes and cold comes. That which becomes less, that which becomes increases. Thus the seasons, year, all life completes itself. Wow. I'm learning with you guys as I'm reading this, so don't think that I know this, because I don't. So I'm gonna continue on, because let's see. I don't know if he wants. Let me choose another. Okay. Spirit, guide me to the next symbol. Oh, okay. We're going to do the moon, which is number 11. And this is the symbol, the moon. I don't know how to pronounce this word, but I'm going to try it. Tanun Pat, or summer. The moon god, the impulse which gives life to the 3 heavens, earth, air, and sky, is called the rippling one who flies through the wide heavens, swelling his horns headward. Moon worship is believed by many scholars to be even greater antiquity than sun worship. In the early days, the moon was regarded as masculine, and the sun was originally feminine. Sin, the moon god of the Assyrians, is the god of wisdom. Thot, the Egyptian god of learning, is a moon god. Tanapat, the moon god of ancient India, was called self-created, the heavenly fire, offspring of himself. The moon god of typifying summer was uniting bond between spring, the time of inception, and autumn, the time of gardening. The harvest moon is the moon which ripens. The Egyptians, according to Plutarch, called the moon the mother of the world, and believe her to have both the male and female nature, because she is filled with the impregnated by the sun, and then herself sent forth generative principles into the air, and from thence scattered them down unto the earth. There is a close connection between moon worship earth worship, and water worship, all three representing the feminine or passive principle of nature. The light of the moon on growing crops was believed to be more beneficial than the scorching rays of the sun. The moon was thought to be the source of all moisture. Everything from the sap of plants to the blood of all beings was vitalized by the water of life, which the moon controlled. The worshippers of Ea, the Sumerian god of water, earth, and heaven, believed that the essence of life was to be found in the liquid element. Blood was the vehicle of life, and the worship of the rivers and wells was connected with a widespread belief that the blood of a god flowed in the sacred waters. Sap was spoken of the India as the blood of trees. The idea prevailed that no remission of sin was possible without shedding the blood. It was also cardinal belief from remotest times that inspiration, a fresh access of life, was derived from drinking blood. The sacrament of eating bread and drinking the wine, partaking of the body and blood of the gods of productivity, was part of the ancient mysteries. And the idea of sanctifying oneself by assimilating a divine being goes back to remotest times. It was but a step up to transform the symbol into Christian sacrament of the Eucharist. That he drinketh my blood, dwelleth in me, and I in him, perpetuates an old belief founded of nature's worship, or the worship of life. In the vibration of religion, thought which gave supremacy first to the moon and then to the sun, we may impose that even among the water worshippers of Eridu, the belief finally obtained that the sun and the moon had a common origin as reflections of the one supreme absolute, the sun representing the generating, life-giving power of the deity, the active principle, and the moon, the passive principle. Thus the Egyptians recognized as their greatest gods the sun and moon, Osiris and Isis, and that of the reciprocal actions of the two greatest luminaries produce all life and growth upon the earth. It is the sun, the great fecundator, who communicated to the moon the principles of generations, which she afterwards disseminated through the air and the elements, which in turn transmitted them to the earth. A sun disk resting in a crescent symbolized the conjunctions of the divine pair. The moon symbolizes the celestial mother. Crescent moon is symbolized by the virginity and is given to the chaste Diana, and the Christian art to the Virgin Mary. The moon was called the awakener, and the assembler of the stars, and the moon attended by stars is still perpetuated in the arms of the Turkey and Egypt. Under the influence of the lunar cult, horns became a symbol of divinity. The crescent is called the horned moon. In the illustration of two lines supporting the solar disk, the disk rests upon the conventionalist sacred horns of the moon crescent. The Egyptian god Horus, as the renewed sun bearers on his head, is tapering horns of the crescent upon which rests the solar disk. Later, the symbolisms become realistic, and the horns of the animals were used. Horns of the bull or cow typified honor, power. Those of the ram or goat signified fecundity. The horns of the consecration or prominent in the early Menian worship. A.J. Evans considered that these suggest the horns of the altar of the Hebrew ritual and may relate to the sacrificial oxen, whose horns were set upon the altar as part of the meditative worship, but it is more likely to have been derived from the Egypt and to present the lunar cult, the horns of the crescent moon. Horns are typified the sun rays and were given also as phallic meanings. Everywhere they express power, light, strength, and were used by the ancients as the crest and panetche of heraldry, were used as symbols of royal dignity. Horns in all ages symbolizes good luck and were placed in tombs and all over doorways of houses as protective amulets to ward off evil influences. The moon was believed to have a mysterious and occult influence in our destinies of mankind. Our word lunacy is derived from luna, the moon. To see the new moon over the right shoulder was a sign of good luck. The cornucopia, or horns of plenty, in which are displayed fruit and flowers, is associated in Greek art with great nature, goddesses and gods of vegetations and the vintage. Alone or in connection with the opposite, the upright or straight line, the crescent has lent itself to innumerable forms of ornamentations. The wheel. Let's see. Constantly moving, something circulating about the pure central point. It's like the cycle. The life cycles is also, the karmic cycle is also life. The wheel with its spokes, of which one is the last, is the one, the oldest symbol of the mystic power of the sun. It is tracked back to the sun disk, crossed by the 4 cardinal points. It is related that Buddha, at his birth, took 7 steps towards each of the 7 cardinal points, thus indicating the conquering of the circle or universe. The wheel is associated with the lotus flower, the symbol of the solar matrix. The lotus flower, with its center surrounded by 8 petals, becoming the 8 spokes wheel of the Buddhism. The 8 spokes of multiples of 8 symbolize the 8-fold path of self-conquest. I see this as the rising of the self, releasing the old, and the wheel with the Buddhism is the excellent wheel of good law, which turned 12 times, or 3 revolutions for each of the 4 noble truths. Buddha is the wheel king, the king whose wheels roll over the whole world. Thus, the turning of the wheel symbolizes the doctrine of perpetual cycles of existence. The wheel in India, in the days of Veda, typified the cult power of the sun. It represents unending, perfect completion. One of the symbols of Vishnu, who in the later times superseded Varuna, the greatest god of the Rig Veda, is discussed to fury wheel, which revolves and returns to the thrower like lightning. Karma was called the wheel of fate that evolves relentlessly and increasingly. The sun of rays become 1,000 spokes, wheel of victory. The solar wheel among the Assyrians was a symbol of life. The god within the wheel not only was a god of war, but fertility. The spirit of Asher, the great sun god, was thought to animate the wheel that brought the changing seasons. Shamash, the solar god of Babylonians, is shown seated on his throne with the sun wheel in front of him. The spokes of the wheel are shaped like stars, with three folds, ripping waterways. The vision of Ezekiel, so frequently quoted, testifies to the prevalence and importance of the wheel symbol, and we may fairly infer that Ezekiel was making use of the Assyrian symbolisms, which he said he had seen again and again when the Jews were in captivity. In the fire festival in honor of the sun, a lightened wheel was sent rolling down a hill. The Catherine wheels of modern fireworks, the wheels of St. Catherine's, and the fiery disk of the ancients were presumably all derived from the solar wheel. Swastika. This is a swastika. You know swastika? In the swastika is a Sanskrit word composed of su, good, and asti being the suffix ka, and is equivalent of it is well or so be it. It is reverenced in India 3,000 years before the Christian era, and is stamped with the archaic vases and pottery found in India, Persia, China, Italy, Greece, Cyprus, on ancient bronze ornaments in England, France, Etruria, on weapons and various ornaments in the German and Scandinavia, and the Celtic crosses in Ireland and Scotland, and in the prehistoric burials of Scandinavia, Mexico, Peru, Yucatan, Paraguay, and the United States. Apparently, it was never adopted by the Phoenicians, Babylonians, Syrians, or Egyptians, although it has been found in Egypt, the reference being it was brought there by the Greeks. It was used for the Aryans commenced their migrations and has been called the oldest Aryan symbol. Wilson, the great authority of the swastika, says, of the many forms of the cross, the swastika is most ancient. Despite the theories and speculations of students of its origin is unknown, it began before the history and its property classed as prehistoric. The swastika has been given an emblem to God, sky gods, rain gods, and has been called the monogram of Vishnu and Shiva. It is the sun chariot of Agni. It is found in the footprints of Buddha. It is a special symbol of the esoteric doctrine of Buddha. Buddha is sometimes depicted by the swastika posture, with legs crossed, arms crossed, wise over chest. In Japan, it symbolizes Buddha heart, and it is frequently displayed on his breast. It has been given a phallic meaning. Others interpret it as typifying the generative of feminine principles from the appearance of the statues of various nature goddess, Ceres, Astarte, Hera, and nobly upon a leading statuette of Artemis Nana of Shatella, found at Troy, where the swastika is shown on a triangular shaped shield. The swastika is presently associated with the sacred fire stick. Agni was the god of fire stick. In Great Britain, it is also called file pot of the Anglo-Saxon flower pot, four-footed or many-footed. The Druids were said to have shaped their trees in the form of the swastika or the violet cross. The swastika was the cross of the Manichees and their soul symbols. During the 2nd and 3rd century, the swastika was the only form of cross used by Christians. The swastika touched elsewhere, and everywhere it appeared like the wheel, it was looked upon as symbolic representation of solar energy. The swastika, with its bent arms poised for fight, was the symbol of motion, good fortune, long life, and has been looked upon the earliest times as a charm or amulet that brings good luck. John Newton gives explanation of its origin sounds reasonable enough, starting with the sun disk as a circle and wishing to represent it. Motion, sometimes they give it wings. Again, is depicted as a wheel with motion in one direction, and one direction was indicated by taking part of the rim of the wheel, leaving only sufficient to show its course. Thus came the swastika of the Hindus and the fault of the northern races, one of the most universally diffused of all the mystic embolisms of sun worship. Another one of these symbols of the sun is the tricalion, which proceeds apparently from the same symbolic idea as the swastika. Its branches usually curved, radiating from center on the solar face, found on the ancient Greek shield and Roman coins. Its rays sometimes take the form of legs, thus indicating conclusively the idea of motion, energy, victory. It has many variants, sometimes 2 to 3 forearms or rays proceed from a central hub. The well-known trinity of legs with bent knees has been used from the most ancient times as the arms of Sicily and the Isles of Man. From the swastika have been developed some of the most exquisite running interlacing designs. One finds it on all bits of pottery, on rugs, fabrics, cuttings, wovens into labyrinth forms that are without beginning or end. In Italy, these are called Solomon knots and were supposed to typify divine inscrutability. Sorry. That's the swastika. It's changing, ever changing. These are the legs. It started like this. So everything is not what it really appears to be, or what we was taught to be, or what it's really symbolizes. You really have to go into deeper. You really have to open up your mind and research the symbols, because I don't know, I feel they gave this symbol a very negative symbol regarding to the Nazis. But everybody's belief is everybody's belief. Their opinions, their opinions. So we have to respect each other's opinions, but we have to look in deeper. For those who are open and widen up expand your mind, and not label something that you constantly labeling something that is not what it is. But we are all here to learn from each other. Let me see if I can find a shorter one. I think I'm going to close this one out because the time is running out on my video. It only takes about a certain amount of time, but I'll be back with another one. The lotus. I'll be back with the lotus. Namaste. Have a blessed day. And enjoy your day with your family. Namaste.